When the workload at the harbour would become too much for Duck, Percy would often come to help out. This meant Terence had to do all the shunting in the yard while he was away. One morning, Percy returned from the harbour to find Terence boasting to Toby. "Adaptable," he began. "That's what my owner says I am. Take my advice. Scrap your rails and broaden your outlook." "Pah!" snorted Percy. "Me? Plough a field? I'll stick to my rails, thank you." "No," Terence continued. "Steam engines did plough fields, and run on roads." Percy and Toby quickly remembered Trevor, and had to admit Terence was right. Months went by, and soon Mavis ended up breaking down. Her repairs took longer than expected. Toby got used to trundling up to the quarry each morning. As the colder months drew in, Toby didn't mind, as his fire kept him warm as he puffed happily to and fro, arranging the trucks, bringing them down to the yard, and bringing empties back. One morning it was colder than usual. The ground had frozen solid, and even Toby felt chilly as he set off for the quarry. When the ground freezes, it swells, and just as Toby approached the crossing, it happened. "Ooh!" he exclaimed, noticing the swollen earth over the track. His driver applied the brakes, but Toby's wheels slipped helplessly on the frozen rails. "Ouch!" he yelped moments later as his wheels began to tread the rocky road beside the line. Toby shuddered on for a little way before shakily coming to a stop. "Uh-huh," shouted a familiar voice. "What's going on here, then?" It was the policeman whom Toby had frightened to bail. "Unlicensed vehicles on the road, defective tyres, damage to the roadway." "Look here now, constable," said Toby's fireman. "This is just an accident on account of the swelled-up ground. With a bit of care, we'll have him back on the rails in no time." "Don't know how," replied Toby sadly. But soon, with the fireman directing the driver, they quickly reversed Toby back onto the line, and soon the fireman was spreading hot ashes across the swollen earth to ensure the accident wouldn't happen again. All the time, the policeman kept quiet. A few days later, when Mavis returned, the Fat Controller came to see the engines. "Well done, Toby," he began. "I heard you were playing traction engines near the quarry the other day." Toby blushed, but he was soon surprised to see the Fat Controller wasn't cross. Toby then told him about Terence. The Fat Controller laughed. "Well, if I were you, I would leave the roads to what they are made for, and stay on the rails. You'll find them much more comfortable." Toby was quick to agree. When the workload of the harbour would become too much for Duck, Percy would... When the workload of the harbour would... that Terence would... This meant